Is the Tesla MicroStrategy pair trade dead? Hey guys, it's your big dreamer and doer G Dinero coming to you today with another Financial Freedom Friday, where we will explore this question and determine, is the MicroStrategy Tesla pair trade dead? But first, remember, none of this is tax, financial, legal, investment advice. It's your buddy G Dinero helping you increase your financial literacy to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. So let's dig right in.
Mufasa, you know we finally here, right?
Well,
It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday. Hey, go, go. What? Go, what? Let's go. What?
All right, so here's the inspiration. It came from My Turn to Drive One, and they basically asked, is there still potential with this pair trade model considering where we are at in the crypto cycle? And I said, yeah, I believe so. There's always a pair to trade, whether it's MicroStrategy Tesla, MicroStrategy IBIT, Tesla Solana, etc. And they said, thank you for your response. I should have phrased this differently. Is MicroStrategy Tesla still a good pair to be trading at this point? And I went on to answer it saying that I'm still trading it and only you can determine if it's right for you. And I gave a short explanation. Today, I'm going to expand on that. Now, this is in response to a video I put out about pair trading. You can get that video right here. I'll post a link to it. And that was one of the videos that explained what kind of put me on the map. That was pair trading back almost 3 years ago that I made a post about it in an investment community, and the rest was history. So, guys, this is the second disclaimer. The second disclaimer is only you can decide if trading this pair is right for you, right? Some people, they really shouldn't be trading. They should just be buying and holding. Why? Because they have more of an investor mindset. There is nothing wrong with that. You don't have to trade. Trading is inherently dangerous. It's risky. You need to know what you're doing, right? But on the flip side, you can grow your bags pretty exponentially if you're pair trading back and forth versus just buying and holding for the long haul, right? Case in point, Tesla was this same price back in November that it's at approximately right now, plus or minus $5 or $10, the same price back in November of 2021. That's 4 years ago, almost, right? MicroStrategy was this same price back almost a year ago now. So it shows you that things go up and things go down. That's a given in the markets, all right? So only you can decide if it's right for you. I've personally been doing it for 2+ years in an IRA, in a tax-free account. That makes it easier, so I don't have to worry about the taxable ramifications along the way and generating a lot of short-term capital gains, right? It's helped me grow my bags of both. Both my Tesla and my MicroStrategy have grown as a result of doing this pair trading. And again, like I said, everything has a season. Everything is either overbought at one point or oversold at one point, right? Everything has a season. One thing is certain: the markets go up and the markets go down. The markets go up and the markets go down. And individual stocks or assets go up and they go down. Take a look at Bitcoin over time. It's been as high as $125,000 and it's been as low as $15,600 in just the last 3 years. Right? Things go up and things go down. So here's the charts. This is a 4-hour chart on the MicroStrategy Tesla pair looking all the way back to December 31st, 2024. At that time, the pair was trading at 0.709. We'll call it 0.71, right? You'll see it has green mean reversion dots. It's below, in the lower 1/3 of all the confluence clouds, below the 200-day moving average of this pair, et cetera, et cetera. Here is the Tesla chart. Now, this is a daily chart. I did switch over to the daily. The daily chart shows that we are +2 standard deviations to the upside. There are sell signals. The asset price has gone out the top of all the confluence clouds. It is well north of the 200, 150-day moving averages. RSI was well north of 80, and MACD was on fire and getting ready to cross over. So everything by all definitions said that Tesla was running red hot in December of 2024, looking very oversold, right? Maybe about, or overbought, excuse me. Very overbought, maybe about to sell off. On the other hand, we have MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, if you just follow 2025, it's kind of above that chart that says fully diluted MNAV, undiluted MNAV, where you see 2025 at the bottom. Cast your eyes up and you'll see there's a red bar sticking down to about 285 or so. MicroStrategy was only a little bit oversold at the time. That's what it means when you have a green mean reversion dot, or it was mean reverted slightly to the downside. It's in the middle of all the confluence clouds. It's kind of at the mean, right? So one is well above the mean. The other one was kind of at the mean. So again, here's the math. The pair was at 0.7, really 0.71 if we want to be nitpicking. I should have rounded 0.709 up to 0.71 on December 24th when Tesla was around 488 and MicroStrategy was only 285, right? Tesla had hit 488 and already started pulling back a little bit when that pair trade, kind of indicator went off. Tesla was running +2 standard deviations to the upside. Again, 2 standard deviations above the norm. That means that only about 1 to 2% of the time are you ever going to see it going higher than that. And MicroStrategy, or it's only 1 to 2% of the time spending any time higher than +2 standard deviations. MicroStrategy was -2 standard deviations at the time on the 4-hour chart. So you have one that's going out the top of all the bounds, and you have the other one that's going down below all the bounds. I know it didn't show that because I showed the daily charts. I should have showed 4-hour ones. I have 4-hour ones later in the presentation, though. By July 2025, where we are just a couple months ago, the pair was at 1.49. It had more than doubled, with MicroStrategy hitting $440 and Tesla only $310 at the time. MicroStrategy was running +2 standard deviations above the norm, and Tesla -1.51 standard deviations to the downside on the 4-hour chart. So what I want you to picture in your mind are these are flip-flopped. Tesla was +2 standard deviations. It drops to -1.51. MicroStrategy was -2 standard deviations and it jumped to +2. Yes, I use mean reversion a lot when I'm looking at this pair. It's probably the #1 thing I look at. The other thing is, let's break down the math. What that meant was in December, you could have taken, let's say, 15 Tesla shares and pair traded them into 20 MicroStrategy shares, right? You take 15 of your Tesla shares, and that would have gotten you approximately, because again, I'm kind of rounding that up to 0.75. I'm not even getting the absolute bottom there. Technically, it's 14. I might as well use the exact numbers. You could use 14 Tesla shares, and that would get you 20 MicroStrategy shares, right? How do you get that? You take 14 divided by 0.7. That should equal, let me make sure of that. I don't want to say the wrong thing, guys. 14 divided by 0.7. I had done this earlier. 14 divided by 0.7. Yeah, 20. Just double checking. Don't want to say the wrong thing. So you could take 14 Tesla shares in December 2024 and you'd have 20 MicroStrategy shares. You could take those same 20 MicroStrategy shares and pair trade them into 30. I'm rounding that up just a fraction to a 1.5 ratio. You could get 30 Tesla shares back. December 2024, 14 Tesla shares would have gotten you 20 MicroStrategy shares. Less than, 7 months later, 8 months later? 8 months later, those 20 MicroStrategy shares would get you 30 Tesla shares. You more than doubled your Tesla bag in 8 months, okay? That's how pair trading works. That's how powerful it is. So which brings us to today. The pair is once again at 0.70 with Tesla at 423 and MicroStrategy's at 300. Tesla was just +3 standard deviations, 3. That's the first time since June of 2018. I had to keep going back and looking back. I'm like, when was the last time Tesla was this mean reverted to the upside? June of 2018. And MicroStrategy was minus 2.1 standard deviations to the downside on the 4-hour chart. So they had flip-flopped again. Are you seeing a pattern here? One super overheated. The other one is like the sky is falling and dead. Then the other one is super overheated. And the one that was overheated drops and is dead. That's what we're looking for, are those movements, right? Sentiment is super strong for Tesla and AI right now, and not so much so for MicroStrategy and Bitcoin right now. What I mean is right now, Bitcoin was just almost $125,000 a couple months ago. Now it's 109. MicroStrategy was up at 460 just a couple months ago. Now it's down at 300. Saylor is tapping the ATM like crazy. He changed his mind and it pissed off a lot of shareholders along the way. The MNAV has collapsed, right? It looks like the sky is falling for MicroStrategy. Kind of like it did in 2022. How did that work out? Then look at Tesla. Tesla could do no wrong. They had their CEO and founder go buy $1 billion worth of stock, bang, in a day. And it caused the stock to skyrocket. Some will say, oh, it's because that shows insane conviction in Tesla. I think it was something else personally. Larry Ellison over there at Oracle passed him for like 4 days and was the wealthiest person on the planet when Oracle's stock jumped like 40, 50% in a day. That made Larry Ellison the wealthiest person on earth for 4 days. Until Elon bought $1 billion worth of Tesla stock and sent Tesla's stock climbing over 100 points in just a matter of a few days, making him the wealthiest person on the planet again. That's what I think happened, right? And as we all know, as I said here at the end, this can all change rapidly. These flip-flops, the sentiment especially, changes incredibly rapidly. One sovereign turns around and buys a whole bunch of Bitcoin, or a country buys a whole bunch of Bitcoin and adds it to a strategic reserve, Bitcoin's price is going to moon. On the other hand, if quantum computing came out tomorrow, which I don't believe is going to happen, but if it did, then it's going to tank. And thus, MicroStrategy is going to tank. Same thing over there with Tesla. Tesla, if they said, hey, we nailed robotaxi and it's going to launch nationwide tomorrow, the stock price is going to go ballistic. And on the flip side, if there is a fatality in a robotaxi, and I don't wish this on anybody. I'm a big Tesla shareholder and own a ton of options on Tesla. But if that happened, the share price would tank tomorrow, right? So just keep in mind, it can change incredibly fast. So here's some what ifs. What if Bitcoin runs to $150,000 in the next 2 to 3 months? As expected, most of the thought leaders out there are saying that 140, 150 is in the bag. Some are even calling for $250,000 Bitcoin over the next 3 to 6 months, let's say. And then what if the MicroStrategy MNAV remains only 1.3 as it is right now? When I say only 1.3, what do I mean by that? It's been as high as almost 4, and it's been as low as like 0.5 in its time here on Earth, let's say, since August 2020, when they adopted the Bitcoin standard. The MNAV takes, and it's a multiple, it's a premium on top of the NAV, net asset value, of the Bitcoin that they hold on their balance sheet. So if they hold $100 billion worth of Bitcoin on their balance sheet and it's running at a 1.3, that means the company is priced at $130 billion. The $100 billion worth of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, an additional $30 billion of premium above and beyond that. That's the MNAV in its most simplistic form, right? 1.3 is low. Some would calculate it right now at 1.15 to 1.2. I think my calculation, I came up with 1.25. I see on MicroStrategy's website, it says 1.5. I think on Invest Answers arbitrage sheet, it's around 1.3 right now, 1.28, 1.3. So we're all in the same ballpark. 1.3 is kind of in the mean or the middle of all that. So if Bitcoin goes to 150 and MicroStrategy MNAV remains only 1.3, MicroStrategy is going to hit $435 a share. That's plus $135 or 45% from where we are today with today's price. That's insane. By the way, we were just at 460 back in July, just a couple months ago. So it's not unheard of to go and jump that high with MicroStrategy. But if the MNAV even goes back to only 1.5, not 2.0, not 2.5, not 3 or 4 as high as it's been, then MicroStrategy is at $500, right? $500 a share. That's plus $200 or 67% from today's price. Now, I've been asked a lot of questions. Do I think the MNAV is coming back? I think all of them have collapsed. There's so many Bitcoin treasury companies out there. There's so many choices, but you're already starting to see them, I'm not going to say collapse into the behemoths, but the behemoths are starting to snatch them up, right? Case in point is Strive, ASST, is acquiring Semler, SMLR, right, for their Bitcoin treasury. It's an all-stock acquisition. And what do they really want? They don't want a medical device company. They want the Bitcoin they have on their balance sheet. It's a quick and easy way to double the Bitcoin that ASST has on their balance sheet, right? I see a lot more of that in the future. When there's not so many choices, I think these MNAVs do start to expand again because I think people are going, the cream will rise to the top and the people will look for the ones that can generate a highest Bitcoin yield or sats per share, increasing the number of sats per share, et cetera, the accretion that we talk about. What would Tesla have to hit for similar returns for 45% and a 67% increase, right? We just told you what MicroStrategy would have to hit or would hit if those parameters happen. Tesla would need to hit $613 and $706 respectively from where it is today. So then ask yourself, which is more likely to happen over the next few months? Not years and years and years down the road. I'm talking over these next few months, right? If you're a trader, you're not looking at 10 years down the road. You want to have big bags of both. But what you're looking at is over the next few months, what's more likely? MicroStrategy getting back to 435 to 500, which it was just at 2 months ago, or Tesla going to $613 to $706, which it's never been to. Remember, the highest Tesla has ever been to is $488 a share. That's it. We're still just a little bit shy of that all-time high, and we're talking about breaking the all-time high by another 20 to 25% in order for these numbers you see here to happen. Keep in mind the charts. One's overbought, one's oversold. Overbought means that it's sky high. The other means that it's in the basement, right? The narratives, keep that in mind. Both are really hot right now, AI and crypto. I think AI is a hotter narrative than crypto right now, but that can all change very, very rapidly. We've seen it happen in the past. One nation state or sovereign turns around and buys Bitcoin and bang, it's all over with. The horizons. What's on the horizon? What's in the future? One has FSD and Robotaxi upcoming. That's the most, I know Optimus bought, but that's still ways down the road. I'm talking about what's on the immediate horizon. One has FSD and Robotaxi coming up pretty quick. The other one has an S&P 500 inclusion coming up. And I know some people are like, do I still believe it's going to get added? Yes. Will it get added the next time? Who knows? But I believe it will. It's going to be too hard to ignore it. It's already in the top 100 to 115 largest companies by market cap when compared to the other 500 companies that are in the S&P 500. So if it was in the S&P 500 right now, it'd be in the top 20% on any given day, right? It has a super liquid options market. It's had explosive growth. That growth would lift the entire index up and help with the other 490 zombies that are in the S&P 500. Right now, the heavy lifting's been done by the Magnificent Seven and one or two other stocks. That's it, right? So you got to ask yourself about these narratives. Also, you got to look at the current charts. Now, these are all 4-hour charts. I tried to get more consistent here. You'll note we're right back where we were, like we talked about. We're at 0.71 on the chart. Everything is screaming to use Tesla to buy MicroStrategy if you believe that it's about to flip again. We've had several buy signals along the way. We've been spending the last 2 months in the lower 1/3 of the confluence bands. And it's a really tight linear regression channel going down. 0.98, that's like as tight as it gets. So it's just been a straight shot down. That's what it looks like on the MicroStrategy Tesla pair. On the Tesla chart by itself, a whole lot of sell signals showing up, right? We have a solid sell signal there on about the 18th or so of September. The price was out of the top of the confluence cloud big time. We're butting up against resistance, a historical resistance zone. It gapped up really 4 or 5 times in a row. It closed those top couple of gaps, but there's still gaps showing up on the chart. A gap up occurs when it closes one day at a certain price and opens the next day at a higher price and doesn't trade shares in between there, except maybe during extended trading hours, but that doesn't count when you're talking about gap ups. Look at the RSI, the MACD. Look at the mean reversion. Mean reversion was all the way up at 3.0, like we just talked about a little while ago. It's dropped to about 0.75. That also, look at RSI. RSI was sky high. It was all the way up at 85, 88, and it's dropped back down to 50. It's back down to neutral. So you have RSI neutralizing, you have mean reversion neutralizing, and the price was still creeping up. Bonus, if somebody can tell me what that is, drop that down in the comments. It's called a bearish divergence. And then over here on MicroStrategy, you've got a just ugly chart. It's just ugly, right? More than 2 standard deviations to the downside, 2.12 to be exact. You have RSI well below 30. It's down near 20. You have MACD still heading down. Everything is still kind of going down, but is it likely to bottom around 300, a historical support and resistance level? By the way, markets like these big round numbers like 300, 350, 400, 450, 500. They like round numbers, especially on the hundreds. They like those round numbers, right? And it's going out the bottom of the confluence clouds. Everything is screaming. This looks like it could potentially be coming up on some buying signals, whereas the Tesla chart is showing selling signals. Ultimately, guys, the choice is yours. I'm personally a believer in both. I hold a lot of both of these. These two make up a bulk of my portfolio right now. That's my bet on crypto or Bitcoin. That's my bet on AI or Tesla. Right? I believe Bitcoin still has a lot of room to run this bull cycle. I believe it may hit 200,000 plus. The money printers are turned on in hard assets like Bitcoin and gold. Gold's another great one, guys. We're going to go into an inflationary environment again for this decade, in my opinion. Even though AI makes things deflationary, the fiat standard that we're on makes things inflationary. They're going to print money like crazy, and that money's going to find its way into the creme de la creme assets. And I believe Bitcoin is one of those. So I think it's going to go well north of 200 this cycle. And I believe that the drawdowns are going to be significantly less in the future. The days of the 75 and 80% drawdowns, I don't see those in the future. Why? It's a $2.4 trillion asset now with institutional investing everywhere. We have ETFs that hold over a million Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin treasury companies that hold over 1 million Bitcoin. Those aren't things that are just going to just up and sell at the drop of a hat. We have strategic Bitcoin reserves on the horizon. It looks like the store of value narrative is where Bitcoin's going to win in the future. And if that's the case, those drawdowns, those massive drawdowns of the past will be gone. And also, the huge blow-off tops, I don't think we're going to see those anymore either. We're just going to keep stepping our way up like we have been recently. I also believe that Tesla has insane potential. Just so you think I'm not being one-sided in all MicroStrategy, I'm both. I'm almost 50-50 right now between the two, quite frankly. And before I was 75% MicroStrategy and 25% Tesla. So I also believe that, like I said, Tesla has insane potential with just FSD Robotaxi and Optimus bots. That doesn't include any of their other, the solar, the mega packs, the semis, the potential little Model 2, the El Cheapo car, any vans they might come out with in the future, all the other stuff that they might come out with. I'm not even pricing that in. I'm just saying with FSD, Robotaxi, and Optimus, it has massive, massive potential. I also believe that the cycle of 10Xs, or what they call orders of magnitude with Tesla, will continue. That's where it goes from $1 to $10 to $100 to $1,000 to $10,000. You're like, but the stock price has never been to $10,000 or even $1,000. It has, and then it splits. So you have to take into account the splits along the way too. Had it not split, it would be, I think it would be somewhere up near over 10,000. Don't quote me on that exact number. I didn't run those numbers, but I know that we've gone through a few orders of magnitude already with Tesla. And I believe that's going to continue into the future. So what's my plan? Simple. I'll continue to hold both. Remember, I just told you, I'm like a 50-50 roughly right now. And I'll continue to pair trade at opportune times, like now, moving some of my Tesla over to MicroStrategy. And when the opportunity presents again, I'll do the opposite. I'll pair trade some of my MicroStrategy back into Tesla. I'm not attached to either one. I have my attachment bags, let's say, of each. I guess I am. But I'm pair trading a portion of each back and forth to grow the HODL bags of both. I'm betting both on the future, both Bitcoin crypto and Tesla AI, right? I use a combination of shares, buying and selling shares. So I may sell some Tesla shares to go buy some MicroStrategy. I use a combination of leaps. I might even sell a leap that I own on Tesla if it's up 300% and use that to turn around and go buy a bunch of leaps on MicroStrategy. Or covered calls. Think about that one for a second. Sell aggressive. This is what I've done most recently. I sold some aggressive covered calls on Tesla because I've never seen it mean revert that high in the time I've been an investor. I wasn't an investor in it back in 2018. So sold some aggressive covered calls on it and used that money to go buy some more MicroStrategy shares. Then when MicroStrategy moons, sell some aggressive covered calls on it to turn around and go buy some more Tesla shares. Then they're kind of quote free. I didn't have to sell anything along the way to do it except the covered calls, right? So you've got to figure out what works best for you at the end of the day. Guys, I hope you found value in this today. I put a lot of time and effort into this one. If you did, smash that like button for me and share it out with your friends. That'd be amazing. Drop a comment below. What did you like best about what you saw today? What did you learn? What would you like to see more of? I want to say thank you again to It's About Time, or I think it was It's About Time, for their question on my video, on that pair trading video that I did, because it was the inspiration for today's video. Also, a quick shout out to my buddy Zach. He also had a question about MNAV. It really inspired me to go ahead and put this video together today. So drop those comments below. Let me know what you like best. Smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you see more of these videos that I'm making, but also others like me. I'm not the only one making these videos. And the more you see it, the more you assimilate all the information you get, the better your decisions are going to be in the future. Sorry for hitting the microphone. Also, make sure you book a course with me, guys. If you want to learn TradingView and technical analysis inside and out, the reviews for my courses are through the roof. I don't say that to brag. I just say people are learning. They're learning lots from the courses, from the TradingView and technical analysis course, as well as the understanding options course, where I teach you how to trade options like an options ninja, right? My individual appointments, I'll admit, they're pretty limited right now, guys. I just don't have as much time as I used to have. I apologize for that, and I'm pretty full right now. And finally, I'm G Dinero. I'm here to help you increase your financial literacy, to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.